Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'm going to be doing a review on Tiny Bookshop. But before I start, I'd like to thank all of those who have supported me in Patreons, Ko-fis, tips. It truly means a lot to me. I feel appreciated and just thank you all around. I would also like to thank all of those who have boosted my server. That means a lot to me as well. Also, remember to click that like button and subscribe if you would like more otome and cozy content on your feed. And I think that's it. But let me start. So let me start by explaining to you the concept of the game. As the title suggests, it is literally that you have your small bookshop, and it starts off with, your little car and how you're driving to the harbour because that's where you moved to start this business of selling books. And it really is just that, but incredibly fun because these are the steps. So you first go and pick a location, which more and more get unlocked as you go along with the game. So you've got I think to start with you're at the waterfront, and then you unlock like a cafe and then the beach and so on and so forth. Each location, of course, sells different books. I think cafes, classics sells very well because they're different genres, and the beach, I think kids' books sell well. And these are things that you need to consider when you're picking the books, which is what I'm coming on to. Once you pick the location, you have your bookshelf and you can put however many books that, you want to sell on that day. Okay, you may not necessarily sell all of them. It's unlikely you're going to sell all of them, but you can put them there to, try and pick out the ones that you think will sell in that location. And it's really fun because, you've got these different titles, and some of them you'll recognize. You'll be like, oh my God, I've read that, or I've read that, or it has a summary and everything, so you'll read it and you'll be like, some books I've never heard of, but now I want to read them. So in some ways it's kind of dangerous to my reading backlog as well. Now note that it isn't just locations that determine what book sells well, or furniture also makes an impact. So there are certain decorations that, or let's say, increase your likelihood of selling fantasy, but decrease the likelihood of selling information books. And of course, that's something to consider if there are certain books that you want to sell more than others. Now, once you've picked the location and you've picked your books, it's time to start selling the books. So your car kind of rolls up to, this different sceneries depending on where you've picked, and then you open up your truck and there we go. People start streaming in, and this is the bit that I really enjoy because sometimes people will ask for recommendations. They'll be like, hey, I need help, and then there will be a couple of sentences of what sort of book they're looking for, and then you would have to kind of look through the books you have and recommend something that you think would suit their tastes. But admittedly, it does make me laugh because sometimes they want info books and you recommend a bloody encyclopedia and they'll be like, wow, this is great. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh so much. Another fun thing about this is not only do you get customers that want recommendations, but you've got different townspeople that come along and start speaking to you. They'll be like, oh hi, welcome to the town, my name is this, la la la. And more often than not, they may actually ask for help for certain things. It may be they want to sell more tickets, so can you put this poster in your camp van, or oh, I want this moved, can you help me? And then whatever you find in it you can sell, or they'll ask different favors, and by accomplishing them you'll get little stickers on their page, which is kind of exciting. Now you don't have to just stay there and sell books. You can kind of explore the vicinity and click random things, and occasionally you might even find furniture by doing that, which I think is a nice little touch. So yeah, and then once all of that's happened and you've sold however many books and it's the end of the day, you shut up your car and van and drive off, and that's basically one day, and you do that over and over again, which I don't know, I just could not stop playing it for the first 6 hours. This was just I couldn't stop. It was just so addictive. It would be one more day, one more day, one more day. It's so bad. Now, once you've done with your day, obviously it rolls into the next day, and that's when things like the newspaper and, or I think I can't remember, it's called like the Buxtonbury Review or something, but basically the newspaper, and then you've got your diary. Now, the newspaper tells you, it sometimes has like a community news section, but usually it shows how many of what genre you sold the day before, as well as like a schedule of what events there are that week. Like, for example, some days you'll have like mega saving days in certain locations where you get loads of customers, and yeah, you may not necessarily get the full money amount that you would if you had to sell it somewhere else, but because it's a saving day, you got loads of customers, and there's something addictive about that. But also that's where you can buy new books. It'll say, like it'll have a cardboard box full of them, and then like the color will be whatever genre, and it'll say something like, oh, used books that I don't need anymore, or my kids are too young for these now, too old for these now, and yeah, things like that. And then you obviously buy. The price does decrease every day. However, obviously someone else might buy those books. So that's definitely something to note. Also on the newspaper, you can buy furniture that are seasonal. So that's something to keep an eye out for as well. As for the diary, that's quite important as well because it has information on locations as well as the townspeople. So in terms of locations, there are like kind of quests, you could call them, several of them per location. And when you complete them, you get a stamp, which I don't know about you, but as someone who loves achievements and collecting things, oh god, it's a trap. And to be honest, same goes with the townspeople. Like certain stories may happen if you go to certain locations and someone happens to be there, and with that you get like these stickers on their page. And it's quite important in that the townspeople pages also have like what they like and dislike and things like that on it, but also the location pages tell you what books sold most in that location, which obviously helps you plan for the next time you sell books there, because it says, if it's like loads of crime and classics, you probably want to include more crime books and classic books in your shelf when you go to that location. So these two are key things that you really want to keep your eyes on. Now, before picking your location, you can also decorate your who is it? It's not a camp van. I guess it's a book van, but you can decorate your book van. That may be like paints, like furniture, plants. Now the paint doesn't, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have an effect, but the furniture does. So you really want to be careful what you put on. What, depending on what you're looking for. And there are some furniture that enhance the effects of other furniture. So I'm not very good at this sort of thing because you have to actually think about, so this furniture will affect this one. And then, to be honest, I'm playing literally like a child. I'm just like, oh, this looks cute, that will do. However, some locations do almost demand you to have certain like themes. So for example, there is a fisherman's thing in the waterfront, and if you don't have, I think it was 4 maritime themed furniture, they get kind of angry and it affects your sales. So these are things that really need to be considered, depending on where you're trying to sell. But I personally go for just things that increase your likelihood of selling certain things as opposed to ones that have a detrimental side, because I don't know, I just don't feel confident enough to like work around that. And yeah, there are a couple of things I'm still confused by. I guess I've only played 10 hours. I have gone through a whole calendar year though, but there are certain traits where I'm like, how does that affect? But yeah. Now, there are several ways of obtaining furniture. One is by exploring like the area sometimes. So when you're selling books, you can go to right or left and like click on things, and sometimes that leads to you finding a bit of furniture. So that's one way. Another way is to complete one of the quests of the townspeople, and then sometimes you end up with objects. And then of course, the most common way is to buy them on either the newspaper or in one of the other locations. shops, for example, a flea market where they sell a bunch of like paintings or plants, and that's another way you can buy furniture as well. Now moving on to what I did and didn't like about Tiny Bookshop. So I liked that it was a relatively unique concept. You know, I have played so many farming games by this point, and even management games, you know, you get quite a few of them. This one I felt was very unique because it's like books and it's so simplistic, and the style is very kind of, I don't know, it's weird because you'd think simple is bad, but that's not necessarily the case. In this case, they've kept it simple, casual, and that's what makes it cozy and fun. But it's not so simple that you're bored. They've really got that balance right. I also like the fact that the books are books that actually exist, and quite a few of them I'll recognize and I'll be a bit excited, especially when the people come along and ask recommendations and I'm like, I know exactly what you're looking for. Which, by the way, if you aren't someone who reads a book, that's not a problem as well, because literally you'll go on the books and it will say like what it's about and all the details. So it really is just a matter of like matching those two things. But if you are like me and you like reading, then this will definitely be like an extra perk for you, because it's just kind of exciting. And there are a couple of books that I have not read amongst the Tiny Bookshop repertoire, and now I want to read those. So yeah, it's really bad for my TBR. I also like that the townspeople had like quirky personalities, and you know, they didn't feel like copy and paste. They all were distinct and interesting in their own way. And yeah, I really like that when a cozy game manages to achieve that. And of course, related to that is the wholesome stories that come with those characters, like when you talk to them and you learn certain things, or like what they're trying to achieve, and it's, I don't know, it's really cute. And yeah, I think those are things. Oh, and also the customizable book van. I don't know, I've always liked that. It's just kind of fun, and I like changing the paint to go with the seasons, or just looking at it and feeling kind of like, oh, I like the look of that. So that's very satisfying as well. Now, what I didn't like about this game is sometimes, and this isn't like always, it's just sometimes, but sometimes I really wanted like a fast forward button. And I know it's a cozy game, I'm supposed to be relaxing, but I can't help but think of like min-maxing, and I'm like, oh, but I just want them to sell so I can move on to the next day and sell some more. And as a result, it kind of felt like playing something like 2 Point Hospital. That's like a good pace, but because you're getting really into it, you want to press the super fast forward button. It kind of felt like that at times, but I feel like that's more of a me issue than the game's issue. Another thing is that it's not always clear what you're supposed to do next. Now, you could probably just look up a walkthrough and then just do as you're told, but like sometimes there'll be quests that you've completed and you go back and nothing happens and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Or you haven't encountered any quests, and presumably you go to certain locations and that's how you gain quests, but when it doesn't happen, you're like, am I doing the right thing? Like, you can't help but question. However, I guess in some ways that's something that some people may enjoy, because it means you're forced to explore. So yeah, that's a bit of a mixed one, I suppose. Another thing that I wasn't so fond of was the fact that once you've explored everything in like the locations, there isn't really anything to do. So it felt like the moving around thing was redundant, I guess. Like, why am I able to scroll around when there's nothing I can do anyway? Like, it felt a bit redundant. But I mean, it's not like I don't like it. It's more like I can't help but think it would be nice if there was like maybe more to do. I don't know. And last but not least, there is this child character, and every time they appear, they drive me mad. I'm like, okay, right, bye. If you've played this game, I think you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, moving on to who I would and would not recommend Tiny Bookshop to, I would recommend this game to people who have played their fair amount of farming and foraging game and want something that's a bit more like management, or something that's unique, because this is I find that it's quite different. I really like it because it's refreshing. I love new things. So yeah, I recommend it if you're looking for something different. I would also recommend it to those who aren't really into reading. Okay, this sounds ironic. By reading, I mean, you know how some games there's so much text that you're reading more than playing, and I don't mean it in like a visual novel way. I mean it in like you're supposed to be doing farming, but the tutorial is like going on, or you're supposed to be doing management stuff, but there's like constant dialogue. And while that's fun for someone like me who just wants to focus on the gameplay when it comes to these sorts of games, I'm kind of glad that the conversations are limited to the occasional chit chat with the townspeople as opposed to like layers and layers and layers of text. I play otome games. I don't need any more reading in my games. I would also recommend it to those who like management games that aren't too complicated. This is very straightforward, which is I think what makes it so cozy. Like there is very little stress, and that's something I value. Like, because, you know, there are lots of cozy games out there that are supposed to be cozy. They've got the cozy aesthetic, but the gameplay is very stressful. Maybe it's just that I'm not very good at that game, but personally, I like things to be straightforward in this day and age where everything is so complicated. I would also recommend it to those who are bookworms like me. Honestly, the joy of recognizing titles and feeling happy that you're able to recommend a book to someone, I don't know, there's just something about it. So anyone who's a bookworm, I honestly recommend this game. And last but not least, I recommend it to those who like achievements and collecting things. Whenever you finish a quest and you get those little stamps and collecting. There's something about postage stamps, isn't there? Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. And so if you're a collector, then this could be fun. Now, who I would not recommend this game to is those who are looking for something action-packed, fighting. There is none of that. You're just selling books. So this is the wrong place to be looking if that's what you're looking for. And similarly, if you're looking for a farming style cozy game, this is not where you're going to find it. This is pure management and a little bit of chit chat with the townspeople, so you're not going to find that here either. Also, if you're looking for like a profound overarching story that's going to make you cry and laugh and I don't know, all sorts of emotions, then this may not also be for you, because it is very much slice of life, wholesome conversations. It's really nice, it's heartwarming, but it's nothing dramatic, at least not within the one calendar year that I've played anyway. And I am an otome gamer channel, so I'm gonna just lay it out there that unfortunately there is no romance in this game. So if you're looking for romance, I would also not recommend this game. And lastly, if you're looking for something more complicated where you're going to have to use your brain a bit more, then this may not be the game for you. This is honestly like the most coziest thing you can think of. It's so relaxing. You don't use your brain. Okay, you use your brain a little bit, right? But it's not like, oh, I need to do this and this and this and that in order to achieve X, Y, Z. It's not like that. It's very simple in a fun way. So that's that. Now moving on to my personal rankings, I gave the bingeability 4 out of 5. It was so much fun. I think because it's like a day by day, you can't help but think like, oh, one more day, one more day, one more day. And then when you realize it's 2 a.m. and you're like, oh my God, tomorrow morning's gonna be rough. That's the kind of game this is, at least for me. Uniqueness, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I haven't come across a game where you sell books in the format that it is. So I felt like this is very refreshing. Coziness, I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's not complicated, there's no stress, it's just pure relaxation and fun. It's the perfect amount so that I'm not bored either, so really, I'm just really happy about this game. Can you tell? I'm trying to think of like bad things about it, but it's a struggle because I enjoyed it so much. Art style, I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's simple. I'm not like mesmerized by it. It's cozy. I don't know. I have no complaints. It's sleek. It's cool. But like I'm not whoa about it, if you know what I mean. Same goes for music, which I also gave a 3 out of 5. It's nice, relaxing, changes with time and like location. And I mean, yeah, it's all right. But I'm not like, whoa, I need to put this as a background music all the time either. So yeah, 3 out of 5. And then lastly is UI, I gave it 3.5 out of 5. While I think it's fine, everything is, relatively smooth, there are moments where I have to actually think about, oh yeah, this button to do that, if that makes sense. It could just be me being really dumb, but like, I figured since this is my review, I'd just put that out there. But all in all, it's not like I'd go, don't buy this game because it's bad, like I can't, the controls are awful. It's not like that at all. It is, perfectly fine. Just sometimes in small moments, I think it's when I'm decorating my book van and maybe when I'm picking books that sometimes I have to like think, oh yeah, no, it's R instead of arrows, that sort of thing. If I'm making any sense. That brings me to my overall rating of 8.5 out of 10. I had so much fun. It's awakened something in me, something about cozy management games, which if you have any good recommendations where you're like, Luli, please play this management game, you'll really enjoy it and it's cozy, then do comment them below and I will probably gobble it up. Also, I think it's just that, you know, it did feel quite refreshing. Maybe I just haven't played enough cozy games or something, but personally it wasn't like many of the other things I've come across, and obviously in this day and age where cozy games are constantly like being pumped out, it's nice when you come across something that feels truly unique. But yeah, it scratched all those itches, loving books, loving something that's simple but not too simple that I'm bored. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. But anyway, hopefully this review was helpful. Do comment below if you have any questions. Thank you as always for watching my content. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!